1. Parents die a little over a year apart from each other. They were genuinely just miserable fucking people, abused my cat, let my sister get assaulted. Before my dad dies, demands I get him the most expensive funeral I can, end up not even going to the dollar store funeral we ended up getting for him. Move into their old house because insurance skyrockets if a house is left empty, stuck here because no one is buying in the virus. Spooky shit starts happening, it's not hard to guess why. They haven't been dead long enough for me to put up with this bullshit. Play pick related at all hours of the day. Get another cat because they hated animals. Let my boyfriend move in and rail me in their bed, they were / are violently homophobic. Let my pagan friend come over and have her bullshit moon party with her other weird pagan friends. MFW, I'm not stuck here with them, they're stuck here with me. Spooky shit gradually stops. Bustin' makes me feel good. 2. I have one my uncle told me recently. Not too clear on the details because uncle was a wee bit tipsy when he told me this story. Also, he's an old fucker, so I think this took place like 50 years ago. Uncle joins a mining company. Fresh-faced lad, just 19 years of age. The older guys tell uncle, you picked a bad time to get hired. Start telling him this particular mine is haunted. Others disagree, say something lives in the mine, and it takes people. Others say it's not something, but a colony of creatures that eat people. All of this sounds like horseshit. They're just fucking with the new guy, uncle thinks. The end of the first day, one guy goes missing. He was there that morning, but nobody saw him leave the mine. They have to go back and look for him. No dice, he's gone. Workers start grumbling about unsafe conditions and bossman says if they don't wanna work, he'll find someone who will. A week goes by. Uncle hears of the guys scream deeper in the mine and everyone starts rushing for the exit. Uncle says fuck that and goes to help the dude. Blood-curdling screams continue as uncle pushes forward. He's getting close. Screams stop completely, eerie silence and the sound of many footsteps scurrying away. Uncle, nervous now, keeps going till he finds a pickaxe lying on the ground. No sign of the guy, but tons of little bare footprints everywhere. He follows them for a short way. They stop in the middle of a path. There's nowhere to turn, nowhere to go. It's like whoever it was, just up and disappeared. Workers refuse to work for several days after that. Eventually they're pressured to resume their work. He said nothing like that happened again, but everyone was on edge for the remainder of the job. A few other guys did die, but they were just normal accidents. But my uncle noticed he'd hear those same soft, scurrying footsteps frequently, like a crowd of small people were running around. 3. Be me. Have 4-month-old black cat. Super friendly and outgoing for a cat, loves people, wakes up at 6 a.m. on the dot. Watched him full body tackle a bulldog for shits and gigs. Hanging out alone in my house one morning, cat jumps off the couch, all of a sudden. He's freaking out about something around the corner. All the hair on his back is standing straight up. Tail is bushed out. He's slowly creeping towards the corner. He looks back at me with this look in his eyes like everything is gonna be okay. Hero cat. Lean over to see if I can make out any ghosts or demons or some shit. See the most horrifying thing ever. My fuzzy slippers next to the door, dumb fucking cat. 4. My birthday, 2 years ago. I'd been working 50-hour weeks while going to school. Decide to take a few days off and visit San Francisco. Plain.gif. take the bot into downtown from my motel. I was torn between a kinda yuppie-ish pizza place with good reviews, and a small Italian restaurant across from it. Pick the latter. Devour some delicious Italian cuisine and await my bill. Restaurant has a large window looking out onto the sidewalk. Suddenly I see myself leaving the yuppie pizza place. It was across the street. It's clearly me, wearing the same clothes, walking my way. I pass right by the large restaurant window. It's me, WTF. Waiter asks if I need anything, but stops talking halfway through. He's watching me through the window walking by. I look at him, he looks at me and back outside. Drops my check off and rushes back into the kitchen. Pay my tab and GTFO. I actually planned on chasing after my double, but for some reason I couldn't do it. I wasn't scared, I just felt tired at the thought of doing it. That's the only way I can explain it. The idea of pursuing him made me sleepy. I wound up sitting in a park for an hour, just zoned out. 5. Not much of a story, but of a pretty scary incident I experienced back when I was a teen boy. I used to run outside long distance by myself late at night all the time. Starting when I was 15 I was in the cross-country team. I was also about 15 to 16 when this happened. I'm 27 now. One night as I was returning home on one of my runs, a car pulls up into an empty parking lot I was running through, as a shortcut. It was some sort of silver Honda in decent shape, but it was too dark to make out the model name. Anyway, I had stopped and saw the window lowered down to reveal a man inside. I could barely make out his face, but I know it was some Hispanic man, maybe 40s-ish, asking me in broken English that he was heading the same direction and if I would like a ride home. I awkwardly said no gracias, mi casa es cerca no tie, my house is close. He insisted and then lowered his music, loud banda horn music, and then said something in Spanish that I couldn't make out. I then see him motion his arm to put his car in park. By this time, even for a naive dumbass teen like me, I was getting a little spooked as to where this exchange was going. I book it and run as hard as I ever did in my life. I remember the sound of his car door opening yet never saw it. The nearest safe, well-lit, busy street was about 15 seconds away, and I made it. Looked behind me and never saw him ever again. Stuck to the major street all the way home. About 2 weeks later I see his car in the news in surveillance footage, as being a suspicious vehicle involved with creeping on an elementary school not too far from here. I genuinely believe this guy was probably some sort of human trafficker. At the time I never thought about it like that, but nowadays with all the dark shit you hear about trafficking it really makes me wonder. 6. Be me. See ghost. 7. I got a quick one that isn't scary, but definitely paranormal, and a long one if there's interest. God help me while I try to green text from mobile. Be me. Live on Cape Cod, at beach bonfire with friends, getting fire ready, not drinking yet. Blood moon rising. See triple-masted ship in front of moon, once the moon is half above the water line. Ship starts ringing emergency bells. Friends and I just stare, the moon comes up past the water line. Ship rings one last bell then disappears. Friends confirm it, but this type of thing is fairly typical here, so no one shits pants. 8. I had one of those stranger danger experiences. Totally shit myself. Go to a school, when I was about 7, that's a good 5 miles from where I live. Mother picks me up. Doesn't drive so she gets the bus. Dad drives, but he's at work. Sometimes she's late because buses. Doesn't bother me, I just hang around at the gate with my friends. No real danger because of so many people being around, and a teacher standing at the gate the whole time. Bye non, see you tomorrow. Bye. 3 inches. Turn to talk to different friend. Realize everyone has gone home because they all live nearby, just me standing there and some guy. Teacher has started to turn away. Guy asks me if I'm a non. Just stand there. Says he's a friend of my dad's and my dad has asked him to pick me up. Know all of my dad's friends and I don't know him. Tell him I don't know him and he doesn't have a car. Says I know his other friend, though, who does have a car. Points about 15 yards away. Literally would look less like a suspect vehicle if it had rape car written on the side. See guy inside it. Start panicking. Gets hold of my hand and tries to get me to walk with him. Too much of a fucking retard to say anything, I just panic and freeze. Teacher turns back around and walks back towards the gate with a concerned look on her face. Asks if I know him. Just look at her. He says he's a friend of my dad's. She says to come inside and we'll call my dad to check. She's fully suspicious. He knows he's been rumbled. I'm standing like a monk. The real danger now is he's a fully grown man, she's some skinny woman in her early 20s, and I'm 7 with pants full of shit. If he picks me up there's nothing anyone could do. Hear someone screech my name loud as fuck from along the path. It's my mother running full Usain Bolt. Guy lets go of my hand and sprints to car. I start crying. Car drives off. Mother and teacher have been really good friends ever since. 9. Anyone have experiences with cursed dolls? My mom told me this story. Mom's family is from the rural south. They were dirt poor. Other kids made fun of mom because she couldn't afford shoes or decent clothes. One day she's walking around her podunk hometown, hungry and lonely. An old woman walks out from behind some trees and comes up to her. Don't cry, little girl. Take this doll. The doll is nice, has a painted wooden face, real hair, and these little wooden black shoes with golden buckles. Mom thanks the old woman, and runs home to play with her doll. FFW. One night Mom is sleeping with her doll. She wakes up in the middle of the night. Hears the tip-tapping of little shoes walking across her room. Bedroom door creaks open. Tip-tapping across the hall into her parents' room. Mom realizes her doll is gone. Too tired to get up, she falls asleep. Next morning, her parents look distraught and disheveled like they haven't slept. They tell Mom they're going to get rid of her doll. Someone will be coming by the house later to take it away. Mom cries, it's the only nice thing she has. Later, an old man shows up and talks to them. A witch made this doll to spy on you. Whoever made it now knows I'm here, and they'll try to kill me. Leave the house and leave me alone with it. They all go outside. Mom and parents can hear a huge commotion inside the house. The man is yelling and there are other sounds like moans of pain. Eventually everything settles down. The old man comes out looking exhausted, says it's safe to come inside. He has something in his hand. It's the doll, but it's shrunk. The wooden face looks more human and wrinkled. Looks like the old woman who gave the doll to my mom. 10. Camping with friends. Bumfuck pie. Friend's dad drops us off late as shit on the side of the highway. We walk into the woods with our gear, no sunlight, dead of winter. We hike for a bit and find a site. 2 of us go to get water from a stream while my other friend and I set up camp. They're gone for a while. Hear a scream. Oh shit. Think they got mauled by a cougar or something. Grab pen lights and an axe and we go looking for M. Hear more screams. Onward to Valhalla. See shambling humanoids in the darkness. It's my fucking friends. Ask them if they heard anyone screaming. They say they didn't. Go back to camp and eat cans of soup. Fuck foxes. 11. Live with friend on a basement for about 5 years now. Both college dropouts, smoking weed, playing guitar, not really spiritual. His mom, who was a Christian for the longest time, would visit from time to time. One day she's over, does a weird prayer with both of us. Weird mumbling blah blah blah. Friend walks out of the room. Stare at him horrified. He stares at the end of a dark hallway for 3 minutes. What's wrong, Anon? Do you see how he looks at me? Do you see his eyes, Anon? He always stares at me. Look at the hallway and see the shadow of a man about 8 feet tall. It disappears. Argadofuck.jpg. Both dazed and shitting our pants go to bed, wake up to the shadow trying to fight me. I wrestle it for what felt like an entire hour. Friend's mom walks in. She starts praying. What are you doing, dumb bitch? See bright light on the roof absorb the shadow, MFW. 12. Be me. Asleep. Having dream. Weird dream. The sky is brown, I'm in the back of a car and everything is somewhat dark. Apocalyptic almost setting. Look to my right in the back of the car. There's a doll, maybe 3 feet tall. Reach towards doll, pluck out the giant, crimson anime eyes and place them over my own. Instantly wake up. Hear deep voice talking in my ear. Torfin. Freaked out but forget. Still hear Torfin in head. Google out of curiosity. It means to baptize in German. Shit pants. Anyway, not too spooky, but it made me get baptized. It why Mr. Demon told me to be baptized seems counterproductive. 13. Old Dutch family story, literally goes back to the middle in the 19th century. My ancestors came from a small village. One of the farmers had this weird boy. The boy would walk weird, flap his hands, kill small animals, yell loudly, sometimes touch girls' breasts. After getting a few beatings and warnings, the boy was kept on his father's farm, not even being allowed to enter the church. One day the boy enters the church, sobbing and confused, asking to talk to the priest. The priest and several of the local men approach the boy because he is not welcome in the church. He begs the priest to allow him to stay in the church. The priest asks him why. The boy, crying and being hysterical, says he accidentally summoned the devil and that the devil will drown him. The men of the village are hesitant and want to put the boy in a mental asylum outside the city. The boy agrees, but begs them to allow him to sleep in the church this night, because the devil will try and drown him. The priest agrees and a carpenter goes to the city to get someone from the asylum. The boy calms down, gets a small bed, and the priest promises he will be sleeping nearby and that he can call him any time he wants to. 3 times the boy wakes up the priest, because he sees the devil waiting outside the church. 3 times the priest and the boy pray together and read from the Bible. At the end of the evening it starts to rain and small puddles form. It is almost daybreak. The priest is up already to check on the boy. The boy looks outside and says, "I did it, I won from the devil." Happy and confident, the boy says he is going to look as the sun rises. The priest goes inside to get something to eat for himself, and the boy, when he walks outside to give the boy some bread and cheese, he finds his death body. Drowned in one of the puddles that formed last night. 14. Got a story from my childhood. A lot of spooky stories from when I was a kid turned out to have logical answers. Neighbors, jumping my fence, sleep paralysis, etc. But this one doesn't so much. Be me approximately 10 years ago, age 9. Recently moved to this weird house on a hill. Cause it was built like shit. Rain from higher on the hill would run through the house, driving the humidity so high that mushrooms would grow in the grout between the tiles. Creepy fucking statue in the middle of the front yard. Got into Doctor Who like 2 years earlier and just hit puberty, so I developed anxiety, which in turn developed a massive phobia of statues. Fuck weeping angels, bro, for real. Anyway, so one morning I notice the statue has rotated slightly towards the house. Mum dismisses it as just puberty-induced paranoia, saying she was the same way at my age. It keeps gradually rotating more and more, and I'm the only one who notices this, despite pointing it out and progressively becoming more of an anxious wreck about it. More weird shit starts happening. Next door neighbor randomly makes us some food, get insane bad vibes off her and refuse to eat the food. This is unusual since as a kid I was extremely polite and trusting, to the point of being quite gullible, nearly ate shifty sweets from a creepy old man, kinda polite and gullible. Everyone but me gets sick. WTF. Paranoia worsens, having breakdowns every night, begin praying to specifically live until I'm 93. Parents think I'm just fucked-headed. We go for a walk through the nearby parklands. Further down the hill, heaps of broken stone statues lying around. Nobody seems to fucking notice. Cannot shit pants any harder at this point. Genuinely terrified of all statues until I moved out a few months later. Time goes by. Assume my parents were right. FFW to last year, 17 or 18. Been helping my grandpa who lives near old house. Drive by just out to curiosity. The statue isn't there anymore. Resume shitting pants. WTF, bros. WTF. Realtor puts stupid statues in front yard because they think it'll help sell this shitty house. Hyper-aware 9-year-old spurks out about it because they saw all the episodes of Doctor Who. Thinks the statue is sentient because of mold/mildew-induced psychosis. The family smartens up and moves out. New owner moves into your old house. Lol, WTF is this gay little statue in my front yard. Asterisk throws it away further down the hill like all the previous owners did. Asterisk. The statue isn't there anymore. Thanks for sharing, better luck next time. 15. I grew up on a good-sized farm in rural NK. Had like 40 acres of land, mostly forest and a couple big fields. The surrounding properties were pretty much the same, so basically just miles and miles of woods and fields in all directions. The area I was in was well known for being Native American territory. There was even a small Native American museum nearby. Not uncommon to find arrowheads and other artifacts. So I lived here through most of my childhood, age 4 to like 16, I'm 26 now. I always felt like I was being watched. In my house I couldn't walk room to room. I always ran full speed and looking behind me because I felt like I was being followed. Had a number of odd events go down while I lived there. I would regularly see random people walking into and out of the woods, which again was miles and miles of nothing. I'd explored all of our property and a bit of the surrounding area, so it where these random people were going to or coming from. It was pretty bizarre. So here is one story. Note that in this story I wasn't aware of all the Native American shit and knew nothing of poltergeists. Note also I have a near photographic memory, which is why I remember obscure details. Be me. Age 10 or so. Had several quads and rode them pretty much daily. Would often ride around with my pellet gun, shooting at random shit for fun, and exploring. This was before everyone had cell phones BTW. We had a small deer plot at the bottom of this steep hill and a shooting lane leading to it. I regularly would park at the top of this hill, and watch the wildlife, occasionally shooting at birds or whatever, but rarely hit anything. There was a big half-buried rock I'd park my quad on to keep from rolling down the hill. Be doing the above activity one afternoon, broad daylight. Parked on the rock watching the birds / rabbits / squirrels through the scope on my pellet gun. Shit was cash. Suddenly everything goes dead silent. Like the kind of silent where all you hear is the blood pumping through your ears. Feel every single hair on my body stand on end. WTF. Wave. This has never happened before. The animals I'd been watching were frozen. Suddenly hear slow heavy breathing coming from right behind me and what sounds like a momentary deep quiet growl. Freeze. Literally felt electricity in the air, like when you go down those plastic slides in McDonald's, overcome with pure dread, and felt tears welling up. Slowly turn around expecting to see a mountain lion or something, thinking I'm only moments away from death. Could still hear the breathing right the fuck in front of me 4 feet away. There's nothing there. Absolutely fucking nothing. Nigga.jpg. Every cell in my body was saying to run the fuck away, but I was afraid if I moved I would be attacked. In that moment I suddenly heard my mom calling my name way off in the distance. Finally grow some balls and start the quad and take the fuck off full speed, throwing my pellet gun on the ground. Remember the gun landing barrel first and thinking my dad was gonna pissed if he found out because he told me never to let dirt get in the barrel. Fuck it, I'm about to die anyways. Absolutely fly top speed back to the house and ask my mom what she wanted. She hadn't called my name. Absolutely mind fucked. Took weeks before I went out again. For years I never told anyone about this. I'm sort of autistic, so I just never really understood what it was that happened. Not until years later when a friend was talking to me about hauntings did I suddenly remember all the odd shit I experienced as a kid, and it finally clicked that maybe it was a poltergeist or something. When I think about it now, it freaks me out even more than it did then.